This is how to warp a Mirrix loom using the Shasta combs with the regular warping method. The first thing you will do is, if you have a loom that has fold out legs, is to fold them out so your loom is standing steadily on a table. If you have a laney loom, you will just need to fold out one leg. Then set the height of your loom by turning your wing nuts in a counterclockwise direction. Once you have the height that you want, you will place the combs on your loom. Now we will put the first one on first. So we're just going to place it on the top of the loom so the tines are at the top of the top beam and they are facing upwards on the front of the loom. Then you will take the bottom comb and place it on the bottom beam of the loom, and you're going to place it so the tines are at the bottom of the bottom beam facing downward. Now this comb will not stay on your loom until your loom is warped, so just take any piece of thread or warp and just temporarily tie that onto your loom. We will remove this once we warp. Okay, and now all we are going to do is tie on to any tine that we want to start with. So I will start right here, and then we are just going to bring our warp down to the same tine that's on the bottom of the loom, and then bring it right back up and around, and just keep zigzagging like that. Super easy. You can also warp every other tine if you want your warp threads spaced a little further apart. Now remember, you want to try to keep even tension when you're doing this, but it doesn't matter if you have tight tension, because you can always tighten up your tension later after you've warped on a Mirrix. So when you've finished warping, however wide you want to warp across, you are simply going to tie on to another tine. Now again, this can be at the top or at the bottom of your loom. So you'll just tie a knot there. And there we go. Now, if you aren't going to be weaving with a shedding device, you can prepare to start weaving. So you can tighten your tension all the way. You can remove your string here, and you can start to weave here at the bottom a base. So you just take a piece of your warp thread, weave it through, go around one of the beams, then weave it through the other way and tie on the other side here. So this will be a base for your weaving. And then you can begin weaving. If you'd like to use the shedding device with your Shasta combs, you will install it as you normally would on a Mirrix loom. We have detailed instructions on how to do that in the Shasta combs instructional PDF. Once you've done this, there are a few other things you'll want to do. You'll want to make sure your tension is tight. You'll want to remove the string at the bottom of your loom that was holding up your comb. You will want to weave a base with a piece of warp thread that is just woven through your piece, wrapped around one beam, woven through again, and then tied off on the other side. This base is what we normally weave on a Mirrix loom, just to prevent your weaving from falling down below this beam. You'll also weave a similar piece on the top of your loom, up here. Now this is for a different reason that is specific to the Shasta combs. When you use your shedding device and you're lifting up your warp threads again and again and again, we don't want that lifting to reach all the way up here to the combs and break your warp threads. So not only are we going to weave this, we're also going to weave what is basically a footer. So we're just going to weave a few passes at the top of your loom. So it's just sort of weaving the opposite way from the top down rather than the bottom up. And this will just make sure that you're not going to break any warp threads when you are using the shedding device. So we can weave down a little bit further if we wanted to. That's probably enough. And you will take this off, obviously, when you're finished weaving. It is just there as a preventative measure. And that's it. You are all warped and ready to weave using the Shasta combs and the shedding device.